He cheated on me with my best friend. While I was planning the wedding, while I was paying for the honeymoon, while I was building the future he thought he could share with someone else. I didn't scream. I didn't expose them. I just moved every dollar out of the account, canceled every contract, and let them plan a wedding they could no longer afford. No warning, no mess, just silence. And a final bill with my name no longer on it. It started with lipstick. Not mine. Wrong shade, wrong brand. Sitting in the center console of Mark's car like it belonged there. We were on the way home from a venue meeting, finalizing menu options, going over table placements. He'd barely said a word the whole ride, said he was tired. I reached down to grab my water bottle and there it was. Coral pink, twisted shut, smudge on the cap. I held it up without a word. He glanced sideways. That yours? I shook my head. He shrugged. Lena, maybe. She was in the car last week when we picked up the gift boxes. I nodded. Didn't argue. Didn't push. I just kept looking out the window. But something in me clicked. Here's what you need to understand about me. I'm not loud, not impulsive, but I notice everything. And once I start connecting the dots, I don't stop until the whole picture's in front of me. Mark and I had been together for 4 years, engaged for 8 months. Wedding was scheduled for June. Venue was booked, dress was picked, guest list was finalized, and Lena, my best friend since high school, was my maid of honor. She was at every planning meeting, every cake tasting, every shopping trip. And lately, she was always texting, late-night texts, group chats that suddenly got quiet when I entered the room, random excuses to be busy on weekends. Still, I said nothing, because I don't accuse without proof, but I don't ignore patterns either. The next clue came 3 days later. Mark said he was going out of town. Cousin's birthday. Quick overnight. I smiled and said, "Have fun." Lena told me she had a last-minute family thing. I didn't even ask what kind. I just nodded. No problem. I'll catch up on errands. She smiled too wide. That's when I knew. I tracked his hotel booking using an old confirmation email he'd forwarded months ago, logged into the same rewards account. 1 reservation, 2 guests, same dates. I didn't cry. I didn't confront. I booked a room in the same hotel. 1 floor up, opposite side, packed light. No drama. Checked in early. Sat by the lobby cafe with a pair of sunglasses and a calm expression. Waited. At 4:13 p.m., they walked in, holding hands, laughing. She leaned her head on his shoulder while they waited for the elevator. He kissed her on the forehead. She didn't stop him. It wasn't a mistake. It was routine. They never saw me. Didn't need to. Because I wasn't there to be seen. I was there to confirm what I already knew. And now that I had it, it was time to act. They thought I'd lose my mind. Thought I'd scream, cry, maybe even beg. But that's not how this story goes. Because what Mark forgot was that the wedding deposit, my card, the joint account, my income, the florist, the DJ, the honeymoon, booked, managed, paid for by me. They didn't just betray someone they loved. They betrayed the only person keeping their wedding from falling apart. I checked out of the hotel without saying a word, drove home in silence, sat on the edge of the bed and made a list. Every contract, every invoice, every refundable deposit. Then I made a second list. Everything in his name? Nothing. I moved the joint savings into a private account, called my credit card company and paused all future payments to wedding vendors. Canceled the honeymoon. Travel credit stored under my name. I didn't send a single angry text. No phone calls, no scenes. Because I knew something they didn't. They were still planning a wedding. and I was the one quietly disassembling it, piece by piece. The next day, I met Lena for lunch. She smiled like nothing had happened, told me she was so excited for the bridal shower, asked if I wanted to add more to the registry. I nodded. Definitely. Let's make it unforgettable. She agreed. It would be, just not in the way she imagined. Mark came home that night like everything was normal, wrapped his arms around me, kissed the side of my head, said he missed me. I smiled back, and in my head, I was already gone. Because when people show you who they are, you don't fight it. You just stop funding it. That night, while he showered, I opened the laptop on the kitchen counter. I logged into the joint account, transferred everything to mine, $13,874.28, gone in seconds. I closed the account right after. No alerts set up in his name, no warnings, no trace. Next came the venue. It was booked in my name, paid in 2 parts, deposit already down, balance due in 3 weeks. I called them the next morning, told them the wedding was canceled. No story, just facts. They offered me a refund on part of the deposit or the option to transfer the reservation to another couple. I knew a friend who'd been struggling to find a location. I gave it to her for free. She cried on the phone. I smiled while folding laundry. The florist was easy. They worked with me, not him. I canceled, got 40% back. The rest? Considered a fee, totally worth it. The planner? She was good, professional, director. I emailed her from a new address, told her we were pausing all plans. She replied, "Understood. I'll freeze the files. Want me to let him figure it out on his own?" I replied, "Exactly." I booked a moving truck for the following Tuesday, midday. While he was working, no big boxes, just essentials, my clothes, my laptop, the plates I brought into this apartment. I left the ring in a jewelry box on the bathroom sink, right next to the lipstick I'd found in his car. Same spot, full circle, no goodbye note, no email, no, "We need to talk." I just disappeared, cleanly, legally, financially, emotionally. He texted that night, "Where are you?" No answer. Then, "Florist won't respond. Did you cancel something?" Still no reply. Then, "Why did the planner block me?" I turned my phone off, not out of pettiness, out of peace. Because when you betray someone who built the wedding, you don't just lose the relationship. You lose the resources, the structure, the foundation, and the one person who knew how to keep it all together. He thought I was planning a wedding. I was preparing an exit. And now, he and my former best friend would get exactly what they deserved, a ceremony they couldn't afford. The first red flag came when he called the planner. She didn't answer. He emailed her. She replied once. "I no longer have access to the event file. Please speak with your primary contact." He texted me. I didn't respond. He called the florist. The number rang, then forwarded. He left a voicemail asking for the final invoice and floral arrangement confirmation. No one called back. He didn't know the order had been canceled 2 weeks earlier. He didn't know the new bride getting married that weekend was walking into my original venue. Then came the DJ. Same story. Voicemail. Silence. He emailed the resort for the honeymoon, checking to confirm flight details. They replied, "Booking number no longer active. Reservation canceled by original guest." He replied back, confused. Tried to rebook. Prices had gone up, way up. And this time, no one was offering travel credits. He tried to reroute everything, shift contracts into his name, use his credit. But the problem was simple. He didn't have any. Low credit score, high debt-to-income ratio, No history of full payment on any large-scale purchase. Lena offered to help. She posted something vague on her story. "We're manifesting miracles." But all the good vibes in the world weren't going to pay for a $40,000 event she hadn't contributed a dime toward. They started cutting corners. The live band became a playlist. The plated dinner became a buffet. The designer dress? Canceled. They tried to move everything to a park wedding, but the deposits were gone, and their guest list was still expecting fireworks and champagne. Friends started asking questions. People they invited messaged me quietly. "Is everything okay? Are you still getting married? I heard something weird from Lena." I didn't answer any of them. Didn't need to, because silence tells its own story. Eventually, the whispers got loud. One of his cousins, who had always liked me more, told the truth, told everyone what he did, who he did it with, and how I walked away without saying a word, but took every dollar with me. They tried to save face, tried to blame vendors, tried to claim postponement for personal reasons. But nothing works when the truth's already traveling faster than your excuses. They stopped posting for a while, took down the countdown, deleted the "she said yes" reel. Just silence. And while they were busy trying to figure out how to replan a wedding without a budget, I was already planning my first trip in years, booked with the venue credit refund they never knew existed. He finally called. Not a text, not a DM, an actual phone call like it was 2010 and he still had the right to hear my voice. I let it ring once, twice. Then I answered. "Hey," he said, voice lower than usual. No arrogance, just tension. I didn't say anything. He kept going. I don't really know how to say this. Still quiet. Things have been rough. With the vendors, the payments, everything. I stayed silent. Because this wasn't a conversation. This was a man trying to explain his broken crown to the queen who left the palace before it collapsed. "I know what I did was wrong," he continued. "I wasn't thinking. I thought maybe you were drifting. I didn't mean for it to go that far." He paused, then said the line, "But you didn't have to destroy everything." I finally spoke. "Mark, I didn't destroy anything." He tried to interrupt. I kept going. "You cheated. You lied. I just stopped paying for the future you never planned to be faithful in." Silence on his end. Then, "You moved the money." I didn't answer. He already knew. He asked again. "Did you really cancel everything?" I said it flat. Number I just reclaimed what was mine. He started getting louder. Said I embarrassed him. That I made it impossible for him to fix things. That Lena was trying, but they couldn't even get a second date set. Because vendors talk. He said, "You ruined our reputation." I corrected him. "No, Mark. You ruined your own. I just stepped out of the way and let gravity handle the rest." He got quiet after that. No more questions. No apology. Just a long sigh. Then, "Why didn't you just confront me?" I answered softly, "Because you weren't worth the conversation. But you were absolutely worth the consequences." He hung up first, just like he ended the relationship before I did, quietly, selfishly, without thinking about the price. The difference? I sent the invoice, and he's still trying to pay it off. I never posted a thing, not about the breakup, not about what he did, not even a vague quote with a sunset background. Just silence. While they were deleting posts and canceling RSVPs, I was rebuilding, one step at a time. New apartment, new account, new number, no noise. I took a short trip with the money I got back from canceling the honeymoon. Somewhere quiet, somewhere beautiful, somewhere I didn't have to explain why I was alone, because I wasn't lonely. I was free. That trip was the first time I slept through the night in months. Not because I was over it, but because I didn't need to be angry anymore. I had already won. People told me things here and there. A friend ran into Lena at a party, said she looked tired, overdressed, kept checking her phone. Another friend forwarded me a new registry link, the kind you send when the first wedding falls apart and you try to pretend it's still happening. They were asking for $200 rice cookers and candle sets. No venue listed, no date, just a wish list. I didn't laugh. I just closed the tab because it wasn't funny. It was sad. They tried to build a future off a betrayal, but you can't build anything when the foundation is made of lies and borrowed money. And me? I was building too, just without them. I took on a new project, started working with women who had stories like mine, not for pity, but for clarity, taught them how to walk away smart, how to cancel contracts, protect their credit, move money without emotion, how to take a betrayal and turn it into a business lesson they'd never forget. Some people want revenge to be loud, to burn things down, to make someone cry. But I didn't need that. I just needed peace, and maybe a receipt. I don't hate him. I don't hate her. I just don't carry them anymore. Not in my thoughts, not in my inbox, not in the life I'm building now. People think revenge means taking something away, but the truth is, real revenge is giving them everything they asked for, without you. He wanted freedom. He got it. She wanted a wedding. She got a budget, not a marriage. I don't walk around telling my story, but I do share what it taught me. Protect your money, protect your credit, protect your peace, and never build someone else's future when they're secretly planning it with someone else. Because betrayal doesn't always wear a villain's face. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it helps you zip up your dress. Sometimes it kisses your forehead while planning an escape route with your best friend. But you don't need to lie.